Okay, thank you very much for availing time to be around with us at KICC. Today we held a very important forum with the national maize stakeholders, and we also invited our diaspora collaborators. We had a presentation from Miruka, who is Director Maize Africa. And the entire essence of this sitting is to bring back harmony in the maize business so that we can achieve the common objective for which all entities and enterprises within maize have interest in. KICC has a national mandate of coordinating maize business in the country, notwithstanding that KICC is also a venue. And for that reason, we are trying to harmonize and bring that space together so that the private sector, the devolved unit of governments, that is the county governments, and now the national government entity, which is KICC, collaborates and drives the maize business. Realizing in the recent past, we had not performed as well as it would have been, but nonetheless, in the just immediate previous year, the performance were relatively good. I think KICC posted good profits, and I hope that the same with the rest of the stakeholders for the reason that maize has a very interesting way of finding its economic benefit to the rest of the units. If an event is happening at KICC, you realize all the hotels within Nairobi environment get a direct benefit by way of bookings, by way of business. All companies that deal with transport will benefit from the same. And that now drives us to having this national conversation spearheaded by KICC on bringing maize back to the state it was before South Africa overtook Kenya. So that is the entire essence of the forum we had today. In the maize industry in Kenya, at one point there was an attempt to operationalize an office exists. A structure of operation exists, and I think there is a registration in place that supports that. So in the current dispensation, there has been discourse with the current CS on operationalizing the Convention Bureau. As it is today, KICC almost operates as close to the Convention Bureau for the reason that it does the bidding and also has the hosting of operates as a venue and also does the bidding. But the ideal situation would be where you have a neutral entity whose responsibility would be exclusively bidding for events for Destination Kenya, and the rest of the venues will play a complementary role. So in due course, we shall have either the Bureau in its original state or any other organ or body that will play that role, because the entire essence is to have an organ of government, of course, together with the private sector players in the maize industry, to have an entity that does representation and bidding for Destination Kenya. So it is a light approach to it, and it is what is preferred in most of the jurisdictions in terms of approach to maize.
So to what extent has this kind of impacted negatively on Destination Kenya? Lack of this?
The only thing is that it has created this harmony between the public sector venues and the private sector venues, because each now do bidding and do scramble for business in isolation. That disharmony then creates competition intra, instead of now having Kenya approach maize business as a destination. We approach it many times at each venue like we are different destinations.
And as the CEO of KICC, maybe tell us what strategy you have towards moving in the future, towards attracting maybe more maize events here, and comparing this stiff competition from Rwanda and South Africa. What are you planning to do different?
One, it is reintroducing that body, which could go by the name of Bureau, the Convention Bureau, or any other form have stated that will have a specific sole mandate of bidding. That is one. Two, it is to create more product offering. You realize business to business meetings are prevalent, but they need to be augmented with a bit of leisure tourism. So once you come together, the private sector, and you identify the specific areas of interest by the business to business clients, then you will offer to the global community a product that is comprehensive. You also realized we established an office with KQ here, which is called Asante Executive Hub. The entire essence is to make KICC a one-stop shop for delegates, meaning we're able to negotiate even for better rates for delegate growers with the national carrier for purposes of being more attractive and presentable to and between our competitors. So there's a lot that is in place.
In terms of infrastructure?
Okay, to the KICC itself, you realize there has been a lot of work that has been put to it. The government has invested a lot in terms of refurbishment of KICC, both in physical and technological infrastructure. You realize if you just to take the AFDB meeting as a sample to go by, the level of technology that was deployed allowed even voting, which is the most sensitive part of such a meeting. Online voting happened at amphitheater. That is a test of how resilient the technology here is and how compliant the venue is. However, we are going ahead and establishing other amenities which will be more attractive not only to clients for purposes of conferences, but also for entertainment. As I said, we're putting up very good fountains. The ones that are here will still remain, but you at a very advanced level of deploying fountains, just a replica of what is 𝗕𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗃. I think there's none other in Africa. That will handle two things. One, the entertainment bit of it, but equally, it will create another prior source of revenue for sustenance of business, even when the business of conferences is at its low.
So, and how are we going to leverage on your ICA influence to ensure that Kenya remains a key MICE destination?
All that we're going to do is mobilize as much as we can to have Kenya has as many membership as possible, and that will allow decision making by way of voting when we are having the ICA sittings. And that was the essence of going for that position of chairmanship by Kenya, which is the first one in the case. South Africa has held it for the longest, and that informs their statistics on the number of meetings and specifically association meetings that have been happening in South Africa. Yeah.
Okay, just taking you back one step here. What's the level of investment in the infrastructure you just talked about?
By level, what do you mean?
How much you put in?
For the last 2 years, for physical infrastructure adjustment, we have put in approximately 1.9 billion.
1.9 billion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions before the CEO leaves? Thank you very much. Thank you.